Hello again, college football fans. It is Wednesday, October the 13th, 2021, and the Georgia Bulldogs are the king of college football. They look like the king. They sound like the king. They smell like the king of college football right now. Alabama fans, take notice of those last two words, right now. I guess this video is going to be sort of a bringing Bama Nation off the ledge kind of a deal, because I know you're hearing all kinds of disturbing things. You're hearing talking heads all over the country saying things like, this feels different. Yeah. Saban usually manages to lose a game, but this just feels different. This doesn't feel like 2012 Texas A&M and Johnny Manziel. Well, I don't understand why anybody would say that, because to me, it felt exactly the same as 2012. It was a week following a game that Alabama was hyper-focused on. Ole Miss this year and LSU in 2012. It was a team following a vastly different style of football. Just like 2012, we went from the hammer that was LSU that year to friggin' Johnny Manziel running around like the Roadrunner. This year, Ole Miss, high-flying, high-potent offense, very potent, no defense. And then we go to Texas A&M, who wants to command with their lines and run the ball and play hard-nosed defense. So I feel like this loss feels very similar to other losses. Yeah, granted, we didn't have all the turnovers that we had to deal with in Ole Miss in 2015, but we did have a couple of turnovers. So when I hear those kind of things, here's what I hear, Bama fans. I hear the national media doing their best to instigate a good storyline, which is Alabama is taking a significant step back. And I understand why they're doing that, because if Alabama takes a significant step back, that's interesting. That's something that they want to focus on. And also, everybody wants to be the first. Everybody wants to be the first person to say, hey, I saw this coming in such and such year. And I told you after they lost to Texas A&M that it felt different, and I knew it. And so, you're hearing that. You're also hearing from the Georgia fans and Alabama fans. You have to remember that the Georgia fans are always like this. Georgia is one of those programs, a lot like Michigan, a lot like Texas, that just always acts as though they're somebody that they're not. They act like they're Bama. They act like they're Oklahoma. They act like they're Ohio State, but they are not. Georgia almost always, at least in my lifetime, always manages to figure out a way to blow it. But they're, and fan bases, it's not just Georgia. Fan bases should be optimistic. I mean, it's like I said last week, or I said in my last video, the predictions video, that I was going to take an optimistic posture. And why shouldn't I? First of all, I'm a fan, but second of all, I'm a Bama fan that has been watching this team dominate and overcome adversity and, make enterprising young journalists look foolish over and over again. So why wouldn't I be optimistic this time around? Why would I just assume that, this is the end of the dynasty, this is the end of the dominant run? It very well might be, but none of us are Kreskin here. We're not predicting the future. So I just want to remind everybody that because a certain narrative takes hold in the national media, it doesn't mean that it's true. And looking forward into this upcoming weekend, I've already done my predictions, but I wanted to mention a couple of things. In the last video, I said that when Alabama lost to Louisiana Monroe, that they had to play Mississippi State the week after that. I remember saying that, and I started to think that was wrong. I was wrong about that, and I looked it up, and it was. Mississippi State was the game before that, that loss to to Louisiana Monroe, and of course that was the game that Sylvester Croom pulled one out against Nick Saban, and that was a great win for him in that program. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for him overall out there, and that led to Dan Mullen being hired. But I just wanted to correct that. And I also want to just be clear, it probably sounds like I was pussyfooting around and trying to play both sides during the predictions video, but I'm going to be clear. Yeah, the possibility for Alabama collapsing, or the possibility for Alabama losing another game, and certainly the possibility for Alabama not being able to beat Georgia, are all real possibilities. And I'm a nervous Nelly Alabama fan, and I'm always worried and always scared. I'm scared about Mississippi State this week. I mean, things could turn sideways very quickly against a team like that, especially in their place with the Cowbells. I'm well aware of all that, but I want to be clear that I am predicting that Alabama is going to win out, and I'm also predicting that Alabama will beat Georgia in the SEC Championship. And if it's not Georgia, Alabama will beat Kentucky or Florida or whoever winds up being there. Alabama's going to win out, and they're going to go to the playoff. Now, I'm not going to make any predictions further than that, but I do want to be clear that I expect Alabama to win out, and I expect Georgia to either stub their toe on the way to Atlanta or wait until Atlanta and lose to Alabama, because I'm still not completely sold on Georgia's offense. And I'm still not completely sold on Georgia's ability to complete a perfect season en route to a college football playoff berth and a college football national championship. I don't think they're going to do it this year. I think they're going to find a way to Georgia their way out of it, like they always do. And I think that Alabama and Nick Saban are going to regroup and reform, and you're going to see the Crimson Tide come out and crush people the way you're used to seeing it. And that's all I got for right now. And I look forward to the weekend, and maybe I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you.